Look at your haircut, boy. You got plans for zombies map on your head. You ugly. Shut your nasty. You got that chia haircut, boy. Not enough, really. You really.
I heard you were 5'1", bro.
Huh. Now that I have acquired over 1,000 subscribers, I will, I don't know. I never thought I'd get this far. But whatever I decide as my next video topic, it's gotta be big. It's gotta be new. It's gotta be edited with a bunch of crap on screen. It's gotta be Volcanion. Okay, so if you've never touched competitive singles or have a life, Volcanion is a mythical Pokemon introduced in Generation 6 as the first and so far only Fire-Water type in the game. In Gen 9, Volcanion is RU, but it does have a niche in OU and thus has seen some use in high-level play. However, I would argue that Volcanion is not just niche, but an underrated anti-meta pick. Here's why. First off, No, get this garbage off my screen. First off, Steam Eruption is a conceptually busted move, and it's even better now in this generation. The top water resists in OU were nerfed, while Wellspring made the rest of the bulky water population extinct. Meaning the only resists to it are dragons who don't take Steam Eruption very well, grass types which are rare and get blown up by Flamethrower, or bulky waters that can't really do much to Volcanion due to Water Absorb. Speaking of that, Water Absorb allows Volcanion to pivot into Ogerpon Wellspring's IV Cudgel. Now, it's not a check to it cause Power Whip does like 70%, but discouraging Ogerpon to not click its base 100, perfectly accurate, non-contact water-type move with a high crit ratio is a big deal, because it forces a scenario where Wellspring has to guess who's swapping in, which makes it easier for teams to check with grass resists like Zapdos or Corviknight. Water Absorb also shuts down Walking Wake's Hydro Steam and Olomomola's Flip Turn. It also matches up well into Iron Valiant, Primarina, Cinderace, and Moltres. All this gives Volcanion noteworthy switch-in opportunities to start firing its powerful moves. There are two sets I want to highlight: Choice Specs and Utility. Choice Specs Volcanion is one of the heaviest hitting special breakers in a tier, even rivaling mons like Specs Kyurem and Raging Bolt. Volcanion is one of the few special attackers in a tier that can 2-hit KO Slowking Galar, without committing to a Terra, a high dropback move, or even super effective coverage. Since few things in a tier want to eat a Specs boosted Steam Eruption, Slowking is often forced to Terra while you preserve yours. On that topic, Terra Water turns Steam Eruption from a nuke to a goddamn supernova, and it removes Volcanion's Stealth Rock weakness. Terra Water Volcanion is the only special attacker that can guarantee a one-shot on the most common special wall in the tier, Tinglu. This is insane, especially when you consider that Steam Eruption has very little drawback. Tinglu is one of the best mons in the tier. You can check out why in this video. And since its usage is so high right now, I've held the opinion that the effectiveness of specially offensive threats depends on their Tinglu matchup, which is why Pokemon like Iron Moth, Raging Bolt, and Iron Crown have been seeing less usage. As in, like, 2% less usage. They're still good. Fairies have super effective Moonblast, Kyurem has ice moves, Hydrapple can constantly come in thanks to Regenerator and its resistance to ground, and Keldeo hits Tinglu with both its stabs. Even if they don't outright beat Tinglu, they should have ways of messing with it. Darkrai has Will-O-Wisp and can do good damage with Ice Beam or Focus Blast. Dragapult can wear down Tinglu with Wisp plus U-Turn. Gholdengo can cripple Tinglu with Trick, or deal big damage with +2 Terra Fairy Dazzling Gleams. Petrorund can inflict Toxic onto Tinglu. Deoxys Speed can wear it down with Knockoff or super effective coverage. Latios does a ton of damage with Combine boosted Draco and is immune to Spikes plus Earthquake. Volcanion doesn't like switching into Earthquake at all, but threatening to outright KO the most common special wall in the format is not a small feat. Utility sets are less impressive, but it makes up for that by being able to run Boots and utilize its support move pool. Will-O-Wisp gives Volcanion a more guaranteed way to spread burns, which can make or break a game versus Kingambit, Zamazenta, and Dragonite. Taunt shuts down targets like Alomomola completely and prevents Araquanid from setting webs.
Hope you're sticking my webs right now. Like, yeah.
Your life is nothing
You serve zero purpose.
This last part is relevant because Volcanion has seen use on offensive teams, which webs can absolutely crush. It also helps that Volcanion 1v1s several mons that annoy offensive structures. Roar is another option that can emergency check +1 Iron Valiant. That way the Tinglu in the back doesn't have to eat a +1 Moonblast. Volcanion has the obvious Stealth Rock weakness without boots, which hurts its ability to come in repeatedly. But if you take a close look, Volcanion has a good matchup into most Stealth Rock setters. This creates a scenario where Volcanion can come in as they set up rocks and threaten a KO. The opponent can read the switch and punish Volcanion, which is true, but Volcanion can be led turn 1 to discourage entry hazards. Even if the opponent doesn't lead with their rockers, Volcanion is still a huge threat. To explain why, I need to bring up the concept of trading. Not that trading. Trading in competitive Pokemon is sacrificing something in order to gain an advantage. It can be something like staying in on Ogerpon with Clefable and firing off a Thunder Wave. Another Pokemon which I can compare Volcanion to is Primarina. The little sea mermaid stab moves are incredibly strong off its base 126 special attack, and has enough bulk coupled with its defensive typing to take blows and dish them back. Just keep it away from the ogre.
Stand down, ogre! Stand down, ogre! I'm not gonna tell you again, stand down!
You might think Volcanion is outclassed by Primarina. It's not. It's only competing with it. Volcanion performs better into Slowking Galar due to it not having a Sludge Bomb weakness, and it notably 3 KOs it without specs, as opposed to Primarina's Surf only 4 KOing it. And Volcanion isn't immediately threatened by Ogerpon. Volcanion is amazing at trading due to his bulk and how absurd its damage output is. You can throw it out early in a game and force a kill, or leave the opponent with scalding water on their face. It can even be EV'd to live headlong rushes or earthquakes from the likes of Great Tusk and Landorus. There's also a bunch of other mons that Volcanion can 1v1 with or without Terra, like Darkrai, Gholdengo, Dragonite, and even Hexpult. What I'm trying to say is that Volcanion is LeBron James. They both bring in the heat. Cause LeBron James was on the Miami Heat from 2010 to 2014, the same time Generation 6 was released. The same generation Volcanion was introduced in. You guys, you see the connection? You see what I did? Volcanion is a good mon, but it isn't perfect. Its Stealth Rock weakness and low speed makes it difficult to fit onto teams. But the biggest turnoff is that you have to stare at a teething ring every time you send it out. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. What do you think? Are you convinced that Volcanion is secretly the GOAT of SVOU? Or is Volcanion's Stealth Rock weakness and the baby toy in its back too much of a flaw to consider using it? Now that I'm on vacation, I should be able to upload more frequently. Thank you for 1,000 subs, as well as thank you for watching. And remember, there are 3 things that are inevitable: failure, death, and an Amphibians Rise Up video on a Water-type Pokemon.
This does not even set. Hey guys, this
is dead serious. Serious.